Hello, fellow traders. This is Curtis from Beyond Backtesting, and this is BeyondBot. So we had some questions from the last webinar, as well as some people had some trouble hearing it. So I just want to go over it quickly, briefly again, and also show some of the more technical aspects. So first, just take a look at this risk disclosure. Futures trading is risky. Only trade with risk capital. Please review that in its entirety. Okay, so when we talk about this platform, there's some questions about what it is. So I want to get into that, but I want to talk about the why too. So this allows the trader to partially automate your discretionary trading, or even take it to the full auto level. Okay, and the way it does that is we can arm and disarm strategies. Okay, in this example, we have two short strategies, a breakout strategy and a reversal strategy. We have two long strategies, which are their counterparts, breakout and reversal long strategy. Now I can disarm all long trades. I can disarm all short trades. I can arm only long breakouts. And I can interact with the system in real time. So I can arm and disarm algorithmic strategies based on my discretion. So this has been a progression from my attempt at Beyond Backtesting to build gray box systems which allow traders to use their discretionary trading advantage and combine that with algo trading, combine that with algo assisted execution, combine that with quantitative advantage. And the reason this is the reason we would want to do that, let's try to say it this way, okay, is that quantitative strategies do certain things very well. They have certain advantages over discretionary traders. And discretionary traders do certain things well. One of the things that discretionary traders can do well, depending on what type of discretionary trader you are, but one of the general things is we can do better at general pattern recognition. We can generally identify the overall environment conditions. Sometimes we can identify thematic trades, or there's certain things we can do. Okay, we can identify structure. Okay, and computers, quantitative systems are very good at specifics. They're very good at discipline. They're very good at execution speed. So there's a whole set of things that computers do well, and I'm a tape reader. I do other types of trading styles as well. I do quantitative trading as well, but I do a lot of tape reading, and sometimes I'll see patterns set up in the tape that I could see are consistently producing, but if I were to try to execute on those patterns manually, click trading, it's not that it would be impossible, but it could oftentimes be very difficult, especially with the discipline aspect, especially with the discipline to execute quickly. This solves, or has the potential to solve, a lot of your discretionary trading problems, okay? Because this allows you to arm your setups, and the computer can take and manage them automatically. Okay. Conversely, last week and the week before, I had a specific algorithmic authorization, which then I would go in and read the market and tape read it and execute off only when the conditions were favorable. The problem I had was that I was getting in behind the algos, and I was getting chopped up. So this can take the trade automatically for you. Okay. Enter the trade, manage it, and everything is automated. Okay, but you have the interactivity to be able to interact with the orders, to set and change, and move targets and things. If you try to do this with NinjaTrader, if you build your strategy and then you go in and try to move orders, okay, and the reason we can see the orders, just as an FYI, is because we have the chart trader set to hidden. But because these are strategy orders, the strategy manages them, and it's only through the strategy, only through the button interface, that we can interact with these orders.
Order filled.
And so that's kind of the idea is today's markets are highly algorithmic, they're highly competitive, and we need something a little more. We need something a little better than what we had in the past, and this is that something. Now, this BeyondBot supports at least three to five different discretionary ways of interacting with it. And because this is something new, I kind of want to go over that just kind of briefly as to how you can interact with this. So one way is you can just arm and disarm strategies. Okay? the strategies you will build, okay, and some strategies will be trade more selectively, right? Some strategies can be run full auto, and those strategies, or mostly full auto, those strategies probably have some filters in them to avoid doing stupid stuff, okay? And in those strategies, you will be, the way I will be using it, and if you purchase it, one way you could use it would be to arm and disarm those strategies based on the environment conditions, right? If the day's really bearish, you might arm your short strategies, okay? Or you might wait your short side higher, okay? Or you might wait for structure to develop to arm your long strategies, okay? One of the types of patterns I look for is looking for certain structures to develop, and that I found that I can buy even in downtrends when I have certain structural elements in place with a much higher probability. So so that's one way you could use it. Is it's more of you arm it, you can go about your business, you get an authorization, and then you manage the exits. That's one way. Another way is if you want to be more active, if you want to trade more active, then you will build different types of strategies. You'll build strategies which are based on a prior, comes from Bayesian reasoning, that okay, if we're in a downtrend, this would be the optimal way to trade this. I want to trade it in a certain way. And those priors, those algos, do not necessarily need to have edge in every environment. And you would never run those full auto, because those are basically, it's based on your knowledge, it's based on your read, your discretion of the environment. And it's going to help you to execute because you're having a very algorithmic, a very precise way of executing that you can replicate. Okay, it's not just about this setup has edge. It's more about, I know I can execute this setup consistently, and therefore I know exactly what I'm trying to do. So you can look at it two ways. If you want to go full auto, you're going to have to put some filters in there. You're going to have to make them more selective. If you want to trade more active, very actively, then your strategies will be more of the kind where, okay, if you're in a downtrend, or you find a pattern in a downtrend where if you break a 5-minute low, you get a good scalp entry, something of that nature. So it's going to depend on your style of trading, how you use this, and you'll probably use it in many ways. So some of your strategies may be the more of the hands off, with just managing the exits, doing some basic management. Some will be more hands-on, and that will be for you to determine. Now, the other way we can do, thing we can do here is we can arm to specific user-drawn regions. Now, these are just regions that we draw on the screen, okay? And then we can set these up in advance, and then we can arm strategies to trade in these areas, okay? So this is multi-factor in the sense that you've identified an area where you think the market's going to reverse, but you're not just going to take that trade just because you think the market's going to reverse there. You're going to wait for a specific pattern to develop, to set up, and you're going to wait and execute off that pattern, or the computer will. So what you can do is you can combine edges in different contexts. Okay, so if you identify an area of value in the market, you can put you can draw this in the area where you think there's going to be some resistance. Okay, and then the algo will wait until we trade into that area, and then it will wait until a very specific setup occurs within that band. So you have two things working in your favor for that trade. You have the fact that you anticipate for it to reverse in that area, and then two, you have the real-time setup. And so this gives tremendous increases in efficiency and patience and discipline to everything traders talk about, because we're able to set this in advance. We're able to use our discretion, and then we're also able to wait for that pristine setup, that perfect setup, and it doesn't take any extra time. So we can also move these intraday. So you could set these up in your pre-market analysis, set them up once a day, set up your algos and then to move them at the end of the day or the next day. Or you could also, if you're more of the intraday trader and you want to be a little more active, you say, okay, well, I've seen some changes in the market. I've seen some things develop, and now I want to take advantage of the information. Now I want to trade in this region. Okay, so you can move these. It's interactive. Okay, but we're also combining the algorithmic edge. And one of the things that I talk about is that I'm very good at picking levels for the market reverses. I can often do that within one tick, within a couple ticks. But it's very hard to gain confidence on those trades because they're single factor. And I was trying to figure out, why is it so hard for me to gain confidence when I can do this with such precision? And the reason is it's one factor. It's one factor, okay? When you just identify a price in the market, that's a single factor trade. When you identify a price and a pattern, you've identified a multi-factor trade, okay? So you're going to have greater consistency, greater robustness, because both things in isolation would have some probability of your expectancy. When you combine them, you have a much higher probability of your expectancy. So again, there's three ways I've just shown how to use this. We can wait. I can actually pull this up so you can see. It's not trading now because it wasn't inside this buy region. To speed things up, I'm going to go ahead and pull the buy region up so we can generate an order here. And I can show you how this works. I'm going to put this back to default and show you how to do this. So these are strategy overrides, basically. So the strategy itself can have its own exit logic. It can have its own exit logic. We can also override that or manage that through discretion. And one way you may do this is you may allow the strategy to take this first entry, and we can also change the tier size here. So we can do a lot of interactivity. And this is a blueprint. The other side that this goes to is, how is this used? This is a blueprint. You get the source code if you purchase this, and it's that quick. And so if I had my hands free, I could actually move that target up with my shift with my keyboard shortcuts. But I can use the keyboard here. I can adjust each target individually. I can adjust them individually. I can adjust them all together. Okay. I can close out the trade manually. So I can have all this interactivity with it, with the system. And so that's really powerful because it allows us to get to get some of the advantages of our discretionary trading, our pattern recognition, seeing things set up, or identifying value, while also taking advantage of algorithmic execution, the discipline, the precision, all that comes from the algos. Okay, comes from the computer operation. So this is truly something that I haven't seen, and I think this is something that could completely revolutionize your trading. Okay, and so the question is, how do you change these strategies out? So I'm not giving you my strategies. Okay, there are strategies built in here. They're just very trivial strategies, very simple strategies, and then everything is programmed to be very quick to modify, very easy to modify. It's all very it's modular. Okay, so we can also do this in off, and we take one more trade now, and then so we take one more trade now because we have this auto disarm. So you have a region set up here. And then it takes a trade whenever it sets up. Whenever your pattern sets up and the market's in your buy region, okay, let's say that trade got closed out. Now it's auto disarmed. So you can use this in different ways. You can set these up in advance overnight. You can have them take one trade in your zones that you identify. You can read the market actively. Now the strategy is auto disarmed, so it's not going to be trading. So this is a very interactive type of a system. Now some of these bots you'll be deploying. You may deploy in different ways depending on the type of strategy though. So one of my strategies is a strategy that runs on a 4-hour chart. Okay, setups are very infrequent. For that strategy, I'm not going to add buttons for my range charts for that strategy. Instead, I will use this as a blueprint, as a template, and I will put the strategy logic inside specific to that strategy. So again, there's a range of customization here, but the idea is that you'll either duplicate this and incorporate your strategies, your entries, depending on what types of charts into certain boxes, and then you'll also duplicate and replicate that out into different boxes. So this is a blueprint style system, a professional system, and you need to take this and test it out in the market replay, in the sim. It's advanced. It's about 85-90% tested. I'm planning to use this for all my strategies, but it's an advanced system, and you got to test things out and make sure they work in the replay, obviously, and get familiar with how it's going to work in practice. Let me show you, though, the strategies. When we go to the strategies, okay, these are sub-strategies, okay? So everything is object-oriented, is contained, and so what's nice about this, if you want to do full auto trading, right, or if you want to do less managed trading, you have this capability here to use this common functionality to develop your system. So let me show you some of the source code, and I'm going to show you see if you can get this where we can see this. I'm trying to see what's on the screen here. So it's a small screen, so for the recording purposes, let me make this smaller. And then you can use NinjaTrader Editor. I just think it's easier to see in Visual Studio, easier to edit. You can get Visual Studio on a trial for free or the Community Edition. And I do recommend you use the Visual Studio for your editing, unless it's something very simple. It's usually more efficient in Visual Studio. So if you wanted to change your strategy, okay, right here it is. Okay, right here's your breakout long condition. Okay, you can add your strategy logic right here. Process your strategy entry. Okay. This is all you have to do, okay? So you're not, and then you could change the name of the buttons and things. I'm not going to show all that, but basically it's contained. And here's your strategy name, your target ticks, some of your common strategies. So this is a true blueprint solution. So you can go in here, and then you have you have that managed capability. So you take all your strategies, you take your existing strategies, your new strategies, and put it within the gray box, put it within BeyondBot, and be able to manage it with discretion, be able to manage the orders, be able to set time restrictions. Right now there's 2 time restrictions. I'm going to be adding 2 additional time restrictions, so we have 4 time restrictions. I'm going to be adding daily loss limit, in bars losers, bar exits, and things. So when this is fully completed, and it's about 85% complete now, this will support just a tremendous amount of efficiency and productivity for building new strategies, and having them being able to interact with them, and also being able to use some of that common strategy functionality, such as the multiple targets, the interaction. Okay, all of that's included. Now, if maybe you haven't done a lot of Ninja strategy development, if you were to try to use the NinjaTrader's editor just to move the orders around, your strategy is going to move them right back, okay? Because it's managed by the strategy. So we're interacting through the button interface with the strategy. That's the power of this system, is we're getting full interactivity with the strategy, okay? And it's a plug-in system. We can plug in strategies very easily. And the other thing I'm going to be doing as well is creating a recipe book where I'm going to go down. In most strategies, there's like crossovers, there's there's bar patterns and things. I'm going to create a recipe, or basically a source code, with all of those different elements, examples, and then we can copy and paste right into our strategies. So it's going to be more to this. Right now, it's still in a very prototype phase. And it's more of a build it yourself. I provide you the tools, but you have to do the work. So let me show you how to get it again. Let me pause this for a moment, and I'll be right back. Okay, you go right here to this link here to purchase. It's $584 right now. It's going to go up to $684, $685 shortly, and maybe even $1150, $1125. You're going to get the source code. Okay, you're going to be expected to code your own algos. The strategies, you've seen how clean the strategies are. I use partial classes to keep everything organized, so it's very easy to hook into. Even the button interface is, if you've ever used buttons in NT8, you'll find that you have to do a lot of, if you ever change or reorganize anything, it's a lot of coding. But the way I've done it is you can reorganize the whole entire layout with a very minimum of code. Okay, I've made solutions for that. You eventually get a recipe book. That's to do. You're going to have to do some work. Obviously, you have to build your strategies or copy them in. That's not included. You get lifetime updates for the platform code, not for everything. If I decide eventually to offer my strategies, we wouldn't get that. We'll eventually create a community an exclusive community for traders, BeyondBot traders who are using this platform to communicate. So there's only a few things I ask you to do if you purchase. One, you agree not to redistribute or build a competing product for free or commercial. Because you have the source code, obviously that would be an easy thing to do. And two, you're going to agree not to hold me liable for any of your trading losses. Okay, you're fully responsible for your losses. This is an advanced system. It's a very powerful system. It's about 85% tested. But if you're putting in your own strategy logic, you're going to have to test that out and see it. You're going to have to understand how it works. It's not an instant gratification thing. It's a powerful trading platform for serious traders. Okay, it's a NinjaTrader 8 strategy. Okay, and then you'll put in your strategy subcomponents. I'm providing email support. I'll try to answer all the questions, but it's going to be a very basic support. I can't do custom programming. There's no refunds because you get the source code. You can run and deploy this on as many environments as you wanted. So when you think about the price of this, think about if you were to buy another type of platform where you're going to need an individual license for each machine. So this is a tremendous value, even at $584, because if you're going to be probably running on two or three computers, and that would be 2 or 3 licenses with any other product. So it's really a third of that. Again, I'm going to be adding multiple things for it. One of the things I'm going to be adding is a output to CSV. I'm going to put all the trades to CSV because if you run strategies in NT8, you enable and disable them, you lose the historical performance. So this is going to be my blueprint. The great thing about getting on board now is because this is going to be my blueprint for all my strategies, you're going to get all those updates. When I add output to CSV for recording all my trades, when I add daily loss limit, when I add everything I need to build all my strategies, you're going to get all that, and which means you can plug in the strategy logic. Let's get back to the strategy logic here so you can see. Normally, your strategy logic is a couple conditions, okay? And I do a lot of easy language, and so I'm trying to set that up kind of like the easy language where you just have a couple conditions. That's your strategy logic, okay? So, and then you can rename the buttons, okay? So if you want to change the name of them. So it's really modular. You take it, you can customize it to whatever level you want to. Maybe you have, now some of you will be probably here in this level of the strategy, just adding your couple conditions, okay? You're going to be at this level, let me add a couple conditions, and that's all I need to do. That's where I'm comfortable at, okay? As you get more comfortable with the system, some of you may be saying, okay, I want to add some buttons, and I want to add some ability to set some filters within my strategy, and I want to make it a little easier, a little more difficult for it to buy or sell. I want to be able to change the selectivity of it in real time. Those are the types of things you'll be able to do because you have the source code and the buttons. So you can take this, start with it very simple, start with it very easy, add a couple conditions in it, add your existing strategies, and start to develop on it and see how that works for you. You don't have to use all the functionality of the system as well, obviously. Maybe if you want to use more of the regions and set your trades up, have a couple strategies, you can use it that way. But you can also, this will grow as you build more strategies, all right? And you'll have to make a determination, how many strategies do you add to each BeyondBot? So one of the questions I got was, okay, how many strategies do I add to each BeyondBot? And so basically, if you're going to be arming those strategies on the same type of time frame chart, or running them on the same time frames, like I do a lot of range trading, all right? If you're running them on the range charts, you'll probably add them. I'll add those to you'll add each strategy here, okay, to this same BeyondBot. But you can also copy and duplicate and replicate this. And then if you're trading a strategy that trades on a 4-hour chart, you may just add that strategy and just have its own interface. So again, you have to make the determination as what makes most sense for you. But you would have, or I will have, the way I'm structuring my trading is all my strategies will be BeyondBots, and they will all run. And then, depending on the strategies, some of them that will be triggered less often, and I'll do less management. Maybe manage the exit. Some I'll be more active on. Some types of strategies. Again, we talked about I didn't mention the invariants or the strategies where they're basically priors, where I wouldn't run those strategies automated, right? So you're going to have to use that and develop that and figure out how that works for you. But so there's a full range of capability here to run a complete portfolio of strategies. So let's get the link back up, how to purchase it's risk disclosure. Let's see here. Right here the link is, and again, this is a limited time offer. Hope this was useful for you. I know it's a lot, and but I hope this will show you what's possible, and maybe this will spark some creativity. You'll start to get some ideas and see this could be something for your trading. I appreciate your time. Thank you.